welcome to Allegrativity Powercast with Allegra Sinclair. Are you ready to punch fear in the face, show up and tell your story? Stay tuned for tools to get you unstuck and resources to help you develop your story so you can share it with the world. Here's your host, Allegra Sinclair.
Hi, this is Allegra. Welcome to the Powercast. A funny thing happened on the way to the theater. My audience was waiting for me, but I was in the wrong room. Have you picked up my 7 steps to telling your story yet? If not, what are you waiting for? It's a quick checklist that will prevent you from getting lost while you develop your message. You can get it at allegrasinclair.com for the low price of an email address. In step number 3, target wisely, I talk about identifying your audience and sanity checking that information. This is such an important step in telling your story because it doesn't do you much good to tell your story to the wrong people. Your audience could be waiting for you in a completely different theater. Desire, honesty, and fit are important points in defining your audience. You can't want it for others, no matter how much you want to. A good coach doesn't create desires within people, she reveals them. A good storyteller doesn't convince you to like her story. She tells her story to the people who want it. Have you ever seen a situation developing, or perhaps you walked into the middle of it and you knew that it could be really different? Now, did you have a vested interest in the outcome? What I mean by that is, did the situation involve a friend or a client who you really wanted to help get out of that situation? Me too. In fact, just this week, I had 2 different situations arise where I knew the people in them were about to meet madness head on. And in their hearts, I believe they were yearning for something different that didn't include madness, but yet they sat there mired in muck. So of course I figured that their eyesight was a little dim and they didn't realize they were in madness. So I turned on a light, but nothing happened. So then I figured that they didn't realize there were other options to the situation that they were in. So I suggested a couple, not in an unsolicited advice kind of way, because I really try not to do that, but in a, hey, how about this kind of way. Same result, nothing happened. Now I'm so soft-hearted that I had heartburn about these situations for 2 days. But then a mentor asked me if I thought my audience was filled with people who needed me or people who wanted me. I should say that again. Is your audience filled with people who need you or people who want you? My first thought was, what? Is it my purpose to find the people who need me and then meet them where they are? Aren't all women wired to want to be needed? Oh man, did you see what I did there? See, I think I may have been doing exactly what I was observing earlier in the week. My mentor was trying to turn on the light for me, and I was still sitting there in the dark like a mushroom. I don't even like mushrooms, so I knew that couldn't last. There may have been some audience misalignment going on. As I continue to refine my story and who my audience is so I can offer the most value in the world, I continue to bump up against my innate habits that I've had for years. I am a professional encourager and builder of people. I've been that way since birth, and I like it. However, that's funny. I was going to say but I could just hear people saying, okay, here comes her big but. So I changed it to however, but I digress. I will have veered off the path of being a good coach and encourager if I have more skin in the game than you. If I want something for you that you don't, exactly who am I encouraging? If I want you to fly, but you are quite happy walking, am I really serving you by talking about flying? I think not. If I'm a flying coach, my audience is not the folks who want to walk. My audience is the people who want to fly. I've been working on a new resource to help us on the journey of silencing our inner critic and punching that fear in the throat. It's all about limiting beliefs, how to recognize them, what to do about them, how to keep them from coming back. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be priced so low everybody can get it, and it's coming out early next week. But in the process of putting this tool together, I had an aha moment that limiting beliefs are not all that keep people from moving forward. Limiting beliefs aren't the only things that keep people from reaching their goals, from showing up. Sometimes people are precisely where they want to be. Don't believe me? All right. Can you think of a time when someone you knew was in a bad situation, they were delivered from that situation, and then shortly thereafter, they were back in the same or frighteningly similar situation? I thought you could. You could probably think of 5 or 6, and some of the people may even have looked like you. Why is that? Didn't they want to change badly enough? Maybe. I mean, we don't have enough evidence to know. Were they just wasting the time of the people who helped them out of the situation? No. See, sometimes it's really hard for people to be honest about what they want. If they're lying to themselves, you don't have a prayer of getting the truth out of them. Let me step back for a second to a less intimate example. When you were growing up and people asked you what you wanted to be, what did you say? Often, we repeated what we heard other people say. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a ballerina. I want to be the President of the United States. I don't doubt that some of us actually wanted to be those things. But a lot of other people didn't. They simply said they did because it was the popular answer and they wanted to fit in. They wanted to belong. Or they didn't have an answer, so they just went with what everybody else was saying. How do I know? Because at one time that was me. I was in a pre-law program and working for a law firm the summer between my sophomore and junior years of college before I really considered whether I actually wanted to be a lawyer. How ridiculous is that? Guess what the answer was? It was no, for a couple of reasons. One, the law firm where I worked was nothing like LA Law. I spent days waiting for Jimmy Smits or Blair Underwood to show up and was disappointed time and time again. By the way, I did meet Jimmy Smits later in life, and it was so worth the wait. But I digress again. The real problem I discovered at the law firm was that sometimes the right people didn't win in court, and I hated that. It broke my heart. The second reason I decided I didn't want to be a lawyer was I didn't have a heart for the law. I was passionate about people's rights and causes and making my voice count, but I really wanted to impact people on a different level. I wanted to work in human resources and more specifically in training and development. But other people wanted the lawyer career for me so much that I got swept down that path because I thought it didn't really matter. Now, people wanting me to be a lawyer is not a bad thing. I simply use that story to illustrate what can happen when people aren't honest about what their true goals and desires are. I know another woman who spent all the time and money required to become an emergency room physician, only to finally admit to herself that she didn't want to be a doctor. Ow! So if I apply that to the situations I observed earlier this week, it really isn't that surprising that I seem to have more skin in the game than my friend and coaching client. I was sitting in the wrong theater, so of course the story I was telling wasn't really resonating with my audience. The lesson I learned is simply this: I can't want more for you than you want for you. If you want something, I am all over helping you get out of your own way so you can get it, and then share it with others. Because isn't that the point of you getting more so that you can help more? But if you don't really want more, that is okay. I can't create desires and motivations within you. If you want pizza, it is not my responsibility to convince you that tacos are better simply because I'm a taco coach. My time is better served by connecting with those who really want something and are ready to get it. Those are the folks who want to build a bigger platform and start shouting their message before the rocks cry out. That doesn't mean I don't like, or in some cases love, people who aren't interested or ready to tell their story. Those two things are not mutually exclusive, but there is a difference between what I'm doing for my business to identify and connect with my audience, add value, and help women be more powerful, and what I might do on the weekend. Targeting wisely is all about defining, seeking out, finding, and connecting with your audience. I'll be back early next week to tell you more about my new limiting belief tool, but in the interim, please grab the checklist if you don't have it and let me know what you think about defining your audience. Until next time, have a powerful day.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review on iTunes. You can find show notes and more great content on the blog at allegrasinclair.com.